Alrighty, let's just do one of the more advanced questions for Venn diagrams. You'll want to know this one. This is example 15 in the textbook if you want to follow along. The question reads, in a class of 30 students, so we have 30 students. We have 19 that study physics, we have 17 that study chemistry, and 15 study both. Okay, so this might sound confusing. You go, okay, there's 30 students, well then how can 19 study physics? How can 17 study chemistry? Well, that's because the last bit there, some of them study both. So someone who studies both counts as in the physics section and also in the chem section. So we want to display this information on a Venn diagram. So, first thing, remembering our Venn diagram consists of two circles and a box. We go, there's our box, there's our first circle, and our second circle. Let's say this first one represents everyone who studies chemistry, this second circle is everyone who studies, first one's physics, second one's chemistry. In the middle here, where there's an overlap, will be the people who study both. I'm going to mark each of these A, B, C, and then there's also a D. This will be the people in the class who don't study any of those. So I'll just scroll down. A few things to note. So everything in this black circle, the physics circle, must add up to the number of people who study physics. So this A and B, A plus B, is the number of people that study physics. Now we know this to be 19 because that's what the question gave us. So I can go A plus B equals 19. Next thing, B and C. Well, this is the number of people who study chemistry. So, again, from the question, they've given us that. They've said, okay, 17 study chemistry. So now I know that B plus C equals 17. Next, B in the middle. Well, that's the people who study both. Okay, the question gives us that. It says 15. One last bit of information. We know that there are 30 people in the class. So all of these must add up to the number of people in the class. So we have A plus B plus C plus D equals 30. Now, from all this information, we can start doing some really basic algebra to work this out. So B equals 15. Easy enough. Let's put that in there. So we've worked that one out. Now we have A plus B equals 19. Well, we know B is 15. So A plus 15 equals 19. So we go, okay, what add 15 equals 19? That's 4. So A must equal 4. 4 people study physics. Next one, B, which we've said is 15, plus C equals 17. So 15 add what equals 17? 2. There we are. Final step, well, we've got 4, add 15, add 2. This adds up to 21 altogether. So 21, add D equals 30. So that leaves 9 students who don't study either. So that's how we set that up. Then you're given a question that says, determine the probability that a randomly selected student studies exactly one of these subjects. So this is referring to the people who only study one thing. So that must mean A and C, because these are the number of people who study one thing. We have in total 6 of those people, because we have 4 who only study chemistry only study physics, and 2 who only study chemistry. So that is 6 out of a class of 30. Next question is a bit more tricky. It says, given that a student does not study physics, determine the probability that the student studies chemistry. Well then, the key word here is given that a student does not study physics. We need to look at all the students who do not study physics. This is people who only study chemistry. They're the ones that they do not study physics. These people who don't study any of those things, they also don't study physics. So we're dealing with this 2 and 9, which is 11 people. So that's the part referring to given that they don't study physics. Now, we want to know the probability that of these 11, someone studies chemistry. Well, there are 2 of those 11 who study chemistry. So 2 out of the 11 study chemistry. There's your answer. So that explanation I've just given you needs to be taken in consideration with some of the things I've taught you in class. So if that didn't make sense, you might need to go back a step and look at the introduction to Venn diagrams.